There. Hey, this is Danielle from Black Business Boom in Black Owned Nashville. I am live with our real estate expert today, Staci Coleman from Arbitrage Brokers, a Black woman-owned brokerage here in the Nashville area. How are you, Staci?
I'm doing great, Danielle. How are you?
I am wonderful, enjoying this beautiful weather that we're being blessed with for a few days.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited for us to be jumping in today and talking about real estate investing. I have folks that ask all the time about how do they get into real estate investing. So we actually have a special guest joining us today, and I'm going to bring her back on the screen. You hear Janelle Douglas, who also works with Arbitrage. And so I'm going to actually let you, Staci, take it away and tell us a little bit about Janelle and her experience in real estate investing.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Danielle, for the intro. I am Staci Coleman, the broker owner of Arbitrage Brokers, and today's featured guest is not a guest to me. She's family to me, is Miss Janelle Douglas. Her background is kind of extensive, so I'll just give you some key points. Her dad was a builder. Her husband is a builder. Her brother is in construction and engineering and all of those good things. So she has been a wealth of information for the community as well as her family. So I'm excited for her to talk to you all a little bit today about what it's going to take to build generational wealth through investing. Everybody knows that real estate is one of the best ways for you and your family to build wealth. It's the highest equities we've seen in a really long time. And she represents quite a few people here in the greater Nashville area with buying and flipping. Some of them hold, but she is just a wealth of information for us to be able to have another expert that's also real estate related, but in the investing world. So please take a listen and implement some of the things that she's going to talk about and utilize her as a resource. She's a wealth of it.
I love it. Thank you so much, Staci. I really appreciate you. And I just want to mention that Staci's going to be coming to us monthly, but we're also going to be showcasing other folks that work within the Arbitrage family so that you can learn many different types of real estate and how you can get involved, even if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're an investor, whatever, if you're trying to do commercial, whatever it looks like. We're going to be coming to you monthly and educating you on that. So this month we got Janelle Douglas, and I'm going to let Staci go on about her Friday, and Janelle's going to jump in and give us some important information when you're wanting to get started. Thank you so much, Staci.
No problem. Y'all have a good one.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right, Janelle, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Danielle. How are you?
I'm wonderful, and I'm really excited to have you. I say that all the time, but I really am, because I know how experienced you are in this industry, and I know this is what we need to be able to build wealth in our communities. And there's so many folks that are just stuck and confused, and they're wanting to jump out there and start investing and don't know where to start. So let me ask you that as the first question. If someone thinks that they are interested and they want to get into real estate investing, where do they start? What's the very first step they need to take today if they're ready?
The very first step I would say is to do your research. So a lot of times people like, I want to do real estate investing. I want to, do this or that. And you don't really know what it entails. And so there's different types of real estate investing. Like Staci mentioned, you have the buy and flip, you have the buy and hold, you have new construction, you have all these different things that you can do. So it's very helpful as someone who might help you in the process for you to know kind of which route you want to take. So you want to come into this with some general knowledge of real estate or investment as a whole. I have people who come and say, I want to do real estate investing, but they don't have like general basic knowledge of what investments, is. They don't know what return on investment is. So like you just want to be able to come in with some knowledge so that when people are speaking to you or you're around conversations, you can understand.
Okay.
So there's a couple of different ways to do that. You can always, go to Google. That's always your friend. But there's also groups in Nashville that you can get plugged into. The Real Estate Investment Network is a really good one. So just kind of, plug into the resources that are available and get some basic knowledge before you just jump out there.
I love it. So let's talk about some of these different types, because I feel like based on your personality, based on your goals, there may be one route that makes more sense for you. So if you are someone who is looking to, you don't necessarily like dealing with people, right? And so you don't want to necessarily be a landlord, but you want to get into real estate investing. What would you suggest to a person that's like, I don't want to be a landlord, but I somehow want to get into real estate investing?
So, like I said, there are a couple different options. You can do a buy and flip. So that's when you purchase a property, you renovate the property, and then you sell it for a higher value. So that is one. I wouldn't call it quick and easy. It's a process, of course, to renovate it. You're not holding it over time. So the biggest thing is that you get your return fairly quickly than when you would as a landlord, and you get in small pockets of money over time that eventually add up.
So if that was an option that I felt like was, viable or most in line with who I am as a person, is the market right for that right now? Because we're hearing so much about the market and like prices being through the roof, and I'm like seeing stuff in East Nashville that's 990 square feet and it's $499,000. So is there a market right now for a buy and flip?
It is. So here's the thing with Nashville market. The buyers are driving the investors out of the market. I will say that, but I also say there's room for everybody. So you just have to get in where you fit in. I say that with my regular home buyers. I say that with my have to get in where you can. And so there may be opportunities for you to get in on a house that may not cost. And when I say may not cost that much, is Nashville market. So it may not cost that much, might be $200,000-$300,000. And so you're able to put money into it and your profit may not be as big. Or what we have found, our strategy recently was to go for higher priced homes and then flip them for even higher values. So of course, in order to do that, you have to have the funds and things like that. So it's just each situation is very different. So when I'm working with investors, and I work with a very small pool of investors, but when I'm working with them, I'm looking at your specific situation, looking at the market and trying to determine what's going to be the best route for you. And it could be that Nashville isn't the market for you. It could be that we go to a different market. So it's on a case by case basis.
Okay, that is fantastic. Now, if you do want to go the buy and flip route, who do you need on your team? So who do you need to make sure that, or what are the things that you need to make sure you have lined up so that the process goes as smoothly as possible?
Yeah, and this is with any real estate investment, whether it's the buy and flip, buy and hold, new construction, whichever way you want to go. The most important thing you can do is build your team. And everybody's team looks different because it's a case by case basis. So there's definitely some people that everybody will need. You need a money person if you don't have the funds to complete everything yourself. You want to have someone working on your behalf, like a realtor, that's able to find properties and kind of guide you along the way, because there's a lot of calculations that go into investing. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. So I always tell them, like, the biggest thing I can tell my clients is take the emotion out of it. The numbers drive your decision making. And it's the best piece of advice that I can give you. So it's just a numbers game. So you want to have, like I said, your lender, your realtor, have a home inspector that I use all the time. I know, like them, and trust them. And that's kind of our biggest thing. You want to work with people you know, like, and trust. And then depending on how much knowledge you have determines other people that you want on your team. So we don't know what we don't know. So you want to surround yourself with people who are smarter than you, people who've done it before. So you want to, surround yourself with mentors or contractors or builders, things like that. If you're doing a buy and flip, you definitely want to have a contractor on your team. But with the mentors, I think a lot of people, I just want to get on my soapbox for a minute. A lot of people want people to be mentors, but they want a free mentor to come in and give them all of their knowledge and all of their time. And so when you're dealing with a mentor, think about it as the fact that the mentor is not getting anything out of this. So you want to do what you can to make this a win-win for your mentor. So is there something that you can assist them with that might help them in their business that they're doing? Or feel free to offer them a portion of your proceeds if they guide you along the way. So you may not have the money to pay them now, but you can pay them on the back end. But a lot of times people expect things for free, and people are not required to do that. So that's just kind of one of the things I want to tell people is that, hey, if you're going after a mentor and this person is a big name and they know what they're doing, you got to figure out a way to make it worth their while.
I love that. I like that a lot. Okay, now let's talk about the buy and hold. So I'm going to assume when you say buy and hold, you mean that we're stepping into being a landlord, right?
Yes.
And we would be renting this property out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you, what do you need to consider if you think that that's the route that you want to go? I know there's some things. I've been a landlord. And I vowed I would never do it again, because there were things that I did not consider when going into that sort of arrangement. So can you tell us, if we are like, okay, I'm gonna go get this duplex, or I'm gonna go do whatever, and I'm gonna rent this house out, or what are some things that we need to make sure that we're considering in that process?
Patience. You need a lot of patience when you are a landlord. But the biggest thing is you need to understand the laws. So there are Landlord and Tenant Act that you need to understand so that you're not breaking any laws. But also, I would tell you, if you're a busy person and you don't have time for all of the details and things like that, consider a property manager. And that's the person that manages the property. They collect the rent. They deal with any complaints, any maintenance issues. They make sure, if you're including landscaping and stuff in there, that all of those things are being taken care of. So there's ways to do things, as I like to call it, stress-free, but you have to be willing to pay for those things. So
yes, that's what I was getting to. So when you go and get a property manager, and that's the concern a lot of times folks have, is like, that's going to eat into my profit, right? Mm-hmm. But this is going to also decrease your stress. And so now I know, if I did ever jump back into real estate and go that direction, that I would need somebody to deal with this person or these people, because that can be it's a lot. And you have to be worried about, like you said, maintenance, keeping the grass cut, all these things, and paying and making sure the bills are paid as well. So it's a lot of things that you have to consider when you go that route. Do you find that there's a market for that right now, and that there are a lot of folks really kind of jumping in and doing a buy and hold?
Yes, I do still find people doing buy and hold. It's really just, there's a market for everything. Let me say that. It's just the strategy that you might take might be different. So unfortunately, a lot of times people want an answer that's just a straightforward answer. I was talking to a client today and I said, you always ask me questions that I can't give you a straightforward. But everything is a case by case basis. The biggest thing right now is honestly just, like I said, getting in where you fit in. And so, if you're looking for a investment property that you can have for a rental, we can probably find you something. The strategy just may be different, or it may not be in this market. So it really just depends. Most agents here in Nashville, we're Tennessee realtors, so we're licensed throughout the state of Tennessee, and there are other pockets of the state that are more conducive to certain types of investments, and so you have to be open to that.
Okay. So if someone is ready and they're like, okay, Janelle, like, I need to come and work with you and figure out, what's going to be best for me, and try to find, a property that I can invest in, what does that process look like?
So if you want to kind of reach out to me, I have a website. It's JD Home Sweet Home. And from there, you can book a consultation with me. I will say that I don't work with everybody when it comes to real estate investing. Now, if you're just looking at regular real estate, then of course, but I do keep my circle very small because the market is so demanding right now. It could take time to find a project. And so I don't want people, waiting around and upset with me because things are not happening. I'm a very different type of realtor. So I'm not just here to make money. Of course, we have our careers to make money. But when it comes to real estate investing, I am really giving my clients all of the care and concern. I'm not going to tell you to invest in something that I wouldn't invest in myself. And so I do a lot of research on my end in order to protect you, the investor, as much as possible. So to do that, like I said, we'll start with a consultation. In this business, you want to work with people that you know, like, and trust. And so that has to go both ways. So we have to fill each other out and see if this is going to be a really, good fit. And then we go from there.
Okay. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So when Staci did the introduction, she talked about, building generational wealth through real estate and it being one of the vehicles that can get us to that early retirement and, being able to pay for our kids to go to school. So I just want you to chime in and just tell me your thoughts on, the increase that we are seeing in Black people getting involved in real estate. And just, what are your overall thoughts on how we should be using real estate as a vehicle to reach our goals?
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I'm very, very passionate about. When it comes to real estate investing and using that to create generational wealth, there's a couple different ways that you can do that. So, of course, you can do the buying and flipping route, and you're making larger sums of money. And then you're taking that money and reinvesting it either in real estate or in the stock market. But either way, you are building wealth that way.
Mm-hmm.
Another way is through the buy and hold system, in which you're holding the properties. And then with that regard, you are passing those properties down from generation. Well, real estate only gets more expensive. So if you have a home now that is worth $200,000, I normally would say in 2 years is worth $400,000. With this market, it could be 6 months. We don't know. But as the days go on, that property only gets more and more valuable. And so as you pass that down, that's helping us create generational wealth. Now, some people might look at that as like, well, yeah, we're passing down from generation, but then all my money's tied up now. You can still leverage your real estate to accomplish some of your immediate goals without selling that. And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. So you can still use the value now and save it for future generations as well.
I love that. This was wonderful, Janelle. Extremely helpful. I'm excited. Again, I think real estate is so important to our community, and I'm loving seeing more and more and younger people who are becoming investors or buying their first homes. I think it's just amazing what you guys are doing also at Arbitrage to really help us through those processes. So make sure, if you are interested in working with Janelle, and like she said, she ain't gonna work with everybody now, but if you are interested, go and visit jdhomesweethome.com. You can set up a intake or consultation with Janelle. Someone actually just asked in the comments, do you personally offer a mentorship program?
Yeah, so actually I have an initiative called Millennial Money, and this is where I help your everyday people become investors. So I have, like I said, very small network within that. I do take new people and help them along the way. I meet people where they are, and I'm very transparent, very open. Like I said, my job is to set expectations, so I kind of let you know where you are, but I'm also here to help you build your team and figure out what's going to be the best route for you to go. So yes, I do offer a mentorship program through Millennial Money, but like I said, still just kind of keep the network small. So
okay, and they go to JD Home Sweet Home to submit an inquiry and learn more about that.
Yeah, if they just set up the consultation, we can talk about it.
Okay, perfect. And someone also asked, are you on Instagram?
I am on Instagram as JD Home Sweet Home.
I love it. Wonderful. And Janelle's just doing some amazing things in the area. She has a program for teen girls, correct? For young girls as well. So just doing some amazing things. So I want to make sure that we, again, use her as a resource in our community, but also support all the things that she's doing as well that she'll be sharing with us. So make sure you look out for that as well. And if you're interested in learning more about those programs, what's the best website for them to go to?
For the teen programs, it's actually empowerteens.org. And you can submit a contact form and we'll contact you that way.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Janelle. I truly appreciate you for coming and spending some time. I'm sure we all learned a whole lot today. I want to thank Staci as well and everyone on the team over at Arbitrage Brokers. You all have a wonderful day. And again, thank you so much, Janelle.